Hello, English learners. Welcome back to the Real English Podcast. I'm Jack.
And I'm Emily. It's so great to have you with us today.
We have a really exciting topic for you. Are you ready, Emily?
I'm totally ready, but first, let me ask you a quick question.
Sure. What do you want to know about my conversation habits?
Have you ever tried to speak in a really fast group conversation?
Oh yeah, all the time. It's incredibly hard to get a word in.
Exactly. People just talk right over each other, don't they?
They really do, and it gets super chaotic very quickly.
Right. So today we are talking about tactical interruptions and floor-holding strategies.
That sounds a bit intense, right? What does that actually mean?
It just means learning how to jump into fast-paced discussions smoothly.
I see. That's a huge step to reach near-native fluency.
Yeah, because you can't wait for a polite pause. Those practically never happen.
Good point. You basically have to create your own space to speak.
Have you ever lost control of a point you were making?
Oh, definitely. Someone jumps in, and I just completely freeze up.
I know that feeling. It's honestly so frustrating when that happens.
That's exactly why we are looking at timing and intonation shifts today.
Right? We want to help you master these advanced discourse markers.
You'll learn to step into overlapping conversations without sounding too aggressive.
And you'll learn how to confidently hold your ground when you speak.
This is incredibly useful for real-life communication at work, isn't it?
Absolutely. It helps you assert yourself in very unpredictable group dynamics.
Do you want to preview some of the key words first?
That's a great idea. Let's move smoothly into the vocabulary preview.
Before we start the main dialogue, let's look at some vocabulary.
We have 3 essential words to help you follow along today.
Let's jump right into our very first word. Interject. What does it mean to interject in a fast discussion, Emily?
It basically means to suddenly interrupt someone with a quick comment.
Exactly. It's not about taking over the whole conversation completely.
Right. You just want to drop a tiny thought in there.
Have you ever had to interject during a really heated meeting?
Oh, all the time. You have to be really quick to jump in.
It definitely requires some perfect timing to do it naturally.
It really does. Let's move on to our second vocabulary word. Yield. Now, we usually see this word on traffic signs while driving.
Yeah, but here it means to stop and let another person speak.
That's an interesting way to put it. You give up your turn?
Exactly. You politely yield the floor to the person who interrupted you.
Is it always required to yield when someone tries to interject?
Usually, yes, but sometimes you really need to hold your ground.
Good point. What happens if you completely refuse to yield the floor?
Well, that situation leads us right to our third and final word. Steamroll. That sounds like a pretty aggressive conversational move, doesn't it?
It's very aggressive. It means to talk loudly right over someone else.
Right, you completely ignore what they are trying to say.
You just push your own ideas forward without listening at all.
I actually had a manager who would always steamroll me in meetings.
Oh no, really? How did you handle that kind of situation?
I learned how to keep my voice pitch steady and push back.
That's a brilliant strategy to stop a conversational steamroller in their tracks.
It takes some real practice, but it's a highly effective technique.
You will hear all of these advanced strategies in action very shortly.
That's right, it's time to move on to the dialogue section.
So if we push the launch to Tuesday, we get maximum press coverage. It's a complete win for our entire marketing department.
Wait, let me just jump in right here. If we actually do that, the tech team will really struggle.
Before we talk about tech, let me just finish my thought. We can simply authorize weekend overtime for all the developers.
Overtime really isn't the main problem here, Mark. The primary servers need a complete physical reset.
Sorry to interject, but we really need to hear this out.
Please give me just one more second, Sarah. We desperately need to finalize the marketing timeline today.
I'll yield to you in just a moment, Mark. However, we can't just steamroll over David's technical warning. A server failure would completely ruin the whole launch.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I really didn't mean to talk over anyone just now. Please go ahead and explain the server issue, David.
Thanks for stepping in to help me out, Sarah. As I was saying earlier, the reset takes 48 hours. A Tuesday launch is physically impossible for our systems.
Wow, I honestly had no clue it took that long.
Exactly, and that's why we review everything as a whole group. Let's adjust the schedule to give tech the time they need.
That was a pretty intense dialogue, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. They were definitely fighting for control.
Exactly. Now it's time for our language takeaway section.
Right? Let's break down that advanced vocabulary today.
Where do you think we should start today?
Let's start with the formal word called interject.
Good choice. They use the phrase, sorry to interject.
What does that actually mean in a fast meeting?
To interject just means to interrupt someone suddenly.
Right? But it sounds a bit more formal, doesn't it?
It really does. It softens the interruption a little bit.
Have you ever used that in a tough meeting?
Oh yeah, I use it often. It works like magic.
Another great phrase was, let me just jump in right here.
That is definitely a classic near-native strategy.
Why do we add the word just in there?
It makes the interruption feel very small and quick.
Exactly. It lowers the defenses of the other person.
But what happens if you're the one being interrupted?
You might need to use the formal verb, yield.
Yes, they said. I'll yield to you in just a moment.
Right? To yield means you give up your control.
But adding in just a moment changes everything, right?
It really does. It means you keep talking for now.
I use a similar phrase when people cut me off.
Do you say, let me just finish my thought?
Yes, exactly. It's polite but also very firm.
It's a really great way to hold your ground.
We also heard a strong word about taking over.
Are you talking about the dramatic verb, steamroll?
Yeah, they said, we can't just steamroll over everyone.
What picture comes to your mind with the word steamroll?
I picture a huge machine crushing everything in its path.
Exactly. In a conversation, it means ignoring someone completely.
You just push your ideas forward and ignore everyone else.
Have you ever been steamrolled in a group discussion?
Sadly, yes, I have. It's a super frustrating experience.
That's why these floor-holding strategies are so important.
They really help you survive those fast-paced native conversations. We just talked about some intense ways people control conversations.
Yeah, it can get really competitive in big meetings.
Have you ever had someone just talk right over you?
Oh, definitely. It happens to me all the time.
How do you handle it when they try to dominate?
I usually try to hold my ground with my tone.
Right. A steady voice is everything in those moments.
Exactly. A slight pitch shift shows you're not done.
But what if you actually need to step in quickly?
You need a strong phrase to get their attention.
Do you have a favorite phrase for that?
I like to ask if I can stop them first.
Oh, like saying, "Can I just stop you there?"
That's a great one. You acknowledge them, but take control.
Have you tried using it in a virtual meeting?
Yes, it cuts through the audio delay perfectly.
It works in casual chats or formal presentations too.
Right? And you can add a softer ending if needed.
Like, "Can I just stop you there for a second?"
What if you're the speaker and someone interrupts you?
You need a clear phrase to hold the floor.
Have you ever told someone to just wait a minute?
I prefer saying, "Just let me wrap up this point."
Yeah, that keeps them from taking over the whole discussion.
It sets a firm boundary without sounding angry.
What about when you realize you interrupted someone else?
That happens to me sometimes when I get too excited.
Same here. It's a completely normal mistake to make.
Why does that happen so often in group calls?
People just get eager and jump in too fast.
True. You can say, "Sorry, I cut you off. Please continue."
That hands the power back to them very smoothly.
It really shows you respect their turn to speak.
Let's check out the specific practice patterns for these situations.
Now that we have covered how to interject, when to yield, and how to stop someone from trying to steamroll you, Let's listen to the fast-paced dialogue one more time.
So if we push the launch to Tuesday, we get maximum press coverage. It's a complete win for our entire marketing department.
Wait, let me just jump in right here. If we actually do that, the tech team will really struggle.
Before we talk about tech, let me just finish my thought. We can simply authorize weekend overtime for all the developers.
Overtime really isn't the main problem here, Mark. The primary servers need a complete physical reset.
Sorry to interject, but we really need to hear this out.
Please give me just one more second, Sarah. We desperately need to finalize the marketing timeline today.
I'll yield to you in just a moment, Mark. However, we can't just steamroll over David's technical warning. A server failure would completely ruin the whole launch.
Yeah, you're absolutely right about that. I really didn't mean to talk over anyone just now. Please go ahead and explain the server issue, David.
Thanks for stepping in to help me out, Sarah. As I was saying earlier, the reset takes 48 hours. A Tuesday launch is physically impossible for our systems.
Wow, I honestly had no clue it took that long.
Exactly, and that's why we review everything as a whole group. Let's adjust the schedule to give tech the time they need.
It's always fun hearing that conversation play out.
Yeah, it really is. Sarah handled that tension perfectly.
Exactly. She stepped in right when David needed her.
Right, and Mark realized he was talking over them.
That pivot from Mark was very smooth, wasn't it?
For sure. He yielded the floor gracefully in the end.
Now it's your turn to practice these exact moves.
Right, we picked out some key phrases for you.
You need to shadow the intonation to sound natural.
So, listen carefully and repeat the phrases out loud.
Try to match the exact timing and the stress.
Wait, let me just jump in right here. Before we talk about tech, let me just finish my thought. Sorry to interject, but we really need to hear this out. I'll yield to you in just a moment, Mark. However, we can't just steamroll over David's technical warning. I really didn't mean to talk over anyone just now. Thanks for stepping in to help me out, Sarah.
Great job with that practice session today, everyone.
Yeah, those phrases will definitely boost your speaking confidence.
Thanks so much for joining us for this advanced lesson.
If you found these tips helpful, please like and share.
Exactly. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel.
That really helps us bring you more advanced lessons.
Keep practicing those tactical interruptions in your daily conversations.
We'll see you guys again in the next video.
Have a great week, and goodbye for now.